Okay, according to my computer, it is 7 o'clock, so we'll go ahead and get started. We'll call the Johnston City Council meeting number 23-14 to order. Sam, roll call, please.
Martin.
Here.
Burkhart.
Here.
Cope.
Here.
Reddy.
Here.
Evans.
Here.
I want to welcome everyone that is in the audience this evening. If you're here for an item that is on the agenda, we would ask you to wait until that item comes up and address the council at that time. If you're here for an item that is not on the agenda, there will be an opportunity under public communications to address the council. Next item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance, and we'll ask former council member Dave Lindeman to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is the agenda approval. Do we have any changes to the agenda, Mike?
None this evening, Mayor.
Council, any changes? Seeing none, do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Sam, vote please.
Burkhart.
Yes.
Cope.
Yes.
Reddy.
Yes.
Evans.
Yes.
Martin.
Yes.
Motion passed. Moving on to public communications. We have one scheduled public communication this evening, and that is a report on the state of the American Legion.
Good evening. Thank you, everybody, for the time. Can you switch on? Can you switch that on? Switch on the mic. Switch on the mic.
There you go.
There it is. Ready? Thank you again. I was here about a year ago, right after I took over as the post commander. I thought I would stop back in and let you know where we stand with the post now and moving forward. And I want to make it a regular communication with you guys, at least on an annual basis. Maybe if something big comes up, come in a little bit more, but just let you know that the American Legion is alive and operating here in Johnston. So last year I had a vision statement and a mission statement. They really haven't changed. Our vision is to veterans strengthening our community, and our mission statement is to enhance the well-being of our post members, their families, our community through engagement at the public, educational, and governmental level. So seeing us out in the public, being involved in the schools, and being involved in the city events with you guys and what's going on is what our goal is there. We had our elections and some new post officers. I stayed the commander. Our first vice commander is with me tonight. It's Bob Collin in the back. John Kerber is our second vice. If you've done the cemetery flags at Ridgedale, you've met him. Rob Hedgepeth and Gary Fries are two new members to the officer leadership roles. Rob's our adjutant and Gary Fries is our finance officer. Both of them live here in town and retired out of Camp Dodge. Matt Wolf is our service officer. He works down at the VA and does similar things at the Veterans Administration for veterans needing assistance and help. Doug Rustin's our historian. Mike Beeman's been around forever. If it wasn't for Mike Beeman, our chapter, our post would not have been thriving the way it is thriving right now. He took care of a lot of things for us. And he said, I can't do this anymore. I need to step down. So he stepped from the adjutant down to our chaplain. And then Jeff Lewis is our sergeant at arms. Jeff works out at Camp Dodge. We may not have Jeff much longer. He's probably going to take a tour of duty down at Fort Bliss with the hospital down there to finish out his Army career out there. So that's where we're at for officers this year. Our past year highlights, I want to start with our Memorial Bridge. I think everybody's crossed over and seen the sign. Madam Mayor was at the ceremony with us. It was a fantastic opportunity, and the family was very happy to see that happen, and we're glad to be able to be a part of making that happen. We did participate in the Green Days Parade. We started a Veterans Day flag raising at the memorial we have there at the library. It was a little chilly, and there were a few of us out there, but hopefully we can have that continue to grow and be a little bit more of us as we move forward. Our membership is up to 20%. Our goal was a 10% increase. We got up to 20%, so we had some pretty dedicated guys out there knocking on doors and telling friends they needed to be part of our post. We're right around 60, I think 60 or 61 members now. We started at about 47, I think, when I took over, so we're doing well there. Flags on the veterans' graves. I want to compliment and thank the Parks and Rec Department and Madam Mayor and some of the organizations that have come out. We've had terrific turnouts, even when the weather wasn't so terrific, to help recognize and honor the fallen that are in our Ridgedale Cemetery out on top of the hill up here in Johnston. And our auxiliary had the largest turnout ever for Breakfast with Santa. I don't think a lot of people know about it. We're going to try and do a little more advertising, but we have a typical pancake breakfast with there's carnival games and coloring contests and decorated ornament that would be put on the Christmas trees out at the VA hospital, and Santa. Santa's got a good presence there as well too. Saturday, we had our first ever Richard G. Memorial Ride. So our American Legion Riders, Chapter 728, hosted a ride for Dick Lewer. Dick was killed in action on July 14th of 1968. And so we want to try and honor that date that weekend with a ride for him. So that'll be something our riders will do on an annual basis. Next, we've got a lot coming up yet. Getting back to school. We are starting to engage with the schools. Over this past weekend, we had the district or the department convention, which is our state convention for the American Legion. They gave away a $200, $300, and $500 prize to fifth graders who wrote an essay about the flag, a flag essay. So we're going to try and get our fifth grade classes involved in that as well too. And then we had a couple of people that participated in the oratorical competition that the American Legion hosts. The national winner of the oratorical competition receives a $25,000 scholarship, but there's additional scholarships that come along the way. I think by the time they're done, it can be close to about $30,000 of a scholarship if they can get there and make it all the way. Our individual from Iowa was from, I think, Northeast Iowa, if I recall. Yeah, another Northeast Iowan. So made it to the semifinals, but didn't continue on. But it was an amazing opportunity for her to see things and do things there as well too. I also need to back up. In June, we had two Boise State gentlemen attend. One of them I think is going to nationals too, so that's a pretty fantastic thing there. September 11th is Patriots Day. We want to try and get something going in the schools for that, as well as some stuff we might be doing for the Charter of the American Legion and the Constitution Day. All that happens kind of right in time, so maybe there's something we can do around there. We'll sit and try and get something planned out and then have that as a annual event in our future calendar as well. October, I would really enjoy working with the police and the fire department for what they do down at the station when they host the trick-or-treaters. We have some American Legion safety things Halloween trick-or-treat safety things that we'd like to be able to be a part of and help them with that as well too. I know we participate in Trunk or Treat out at Camp Dodge. November, we'll have our Veterans Day event, and it is the American Education Week is in November too, so we'll try and do something with the schools then. And then December kind of rounds out our year. We will have our Breakfast with Santa, and then we usually have a post-holiday meal as well too, and try and get some of the folks living in some of the facilities in town visited and talk to the veterans out there as well too. Next slide, please. Again, some of our youth programs, Boise State, we did have 2 reps this year. We have had baseball participation in the past. Michael Bart has been a little bit busy doing some other things in his life, but I think we can get him back into baseball again. There's that oratorical contest. with a lot of scholarship money online. I've talked about the fifth grade flag essay, and then, oh yes, the ellipsis. So there's a National Children's Foundation that the American Legion runs, and they have grants for programs very much like ellipsis. So I made contact with the folks out there, and they are working. They had until the 15th of July to get it in, and they're working on getting something done. If it doesn't happen for them this year, it's a constant, continuous thing, so they'll be able to get into the cycle and get something wrote up. Next. There's the Welfare Foundation that I just talked about. The grants don't go for day-to-day operations. They've got to have a project in mind. They have the potential to help children nationally or at least at a large geographic area, and I think what they do out there at the ellipsis covers that. And the average amount given out for that grant is about $25,000, so here's another good opportunity for them there too. And that is pretty much the status of the Richard G. Leewer American Legion Post 728. I could probably go on for another 30 minutes if you'd like me to, or I can take questions at this point.
Well, Dave, I just want to say that, this is amazing. You are doing a lot of things in our community, a lot of good things for our community. One thing you didn't mention is your presence at the farmer's market.
I think I have that here and I skipped right over it. So.
Well, it's great to see you out there as well, but thank you, and thank all of our members of the American Legion for everything that they do. This is, like I said, this is exciting stuff that you've brought forward.
Thanks.
Evening,
We
so.
appreciate the support from the community, and I still haven't given up hopes on having a part of a building back behind here in the town square. So thank you guys. Appreciate your time.
Before
Thank
you run off,
Yeah.
Commander, I'd like to mention something that's been on my mind. I'm on the Johnston Climate Change Committee also, and it's really, really important that we plant more trees in our community. And there's places that seem like they might need some help. Ellipsis is one of them. I noticed several dead trees there. And then our schools tend to not have a lot of landscaping because, cost and maintenance and all those other things. But we do have a tree board that's pretty excited about, helping with tree planting programs. So I'm just going to say to you, there's experts here willing to give their time and effort. If there's grants to be written, if there's assessments to be made, I would love to see us start to partner on some of your projects. I think that, you're talking about the Child Welfare Foundation. You need to support physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual needs of children. I mean, when you have a place with trees,
Sure.
with the outside where it's pleasant to be, that always affected my spirituality.
Yeah.
So again, any way that you can see it, there is people there, and I'd love to partner.
Okay, we'll do what we can. I'm looking forward to working with the city on a lot of things, and so
Yeah, and what about planting trees for veterans? I mean, maybe we could squeeze out a little money when we buy trees to have a certain amount set aside for veterans. I mean, I'd love to do anything that gets more trees in the ground.
that sounds wonderful. Thank you. Yeah. Anything else?
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you again. We are still under public communications. Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to address the council on an item that is not on the agenda? Seeing none, we'll move on to public hearings. We have two public hearings this evening. The first is to conduct a public hearing on the matter of adoption plan specifications, form of contract, and estimate of cost for the Little Beaver Creek Sanitary Sewer Extension Segment 2A, and consider resolution number 23-192, adopting plan specifications, form of contract, and estimate of cost. Consider the construction bids, and to consider resolution number 23-193, ratifying, confirming, and approving award of construction contract. And we'll open this public hearing at 7:13. Matt?
Good evening, Mayor and members of the council. Due to a publishing error with the notice to bidders in the Des Moines Register. Hang on, let me pull up the map here real quick. We're required to hold another public meeting or a public hearing on the accepting and awarding bids. So this is for segment 2A. It's the green line here on the map. Segment 1A is already constructed. Back on May 23rd, the city received bids for Little Beaver Creek Sanitary Sewer, Segment 2A. The project is located near the Crosshaven development at the north end of 100th Street. The sewer will extend through Camp Dodge up to Towner Drive. This is the second phase of extending sanitary sewer to the northwest growth area. We did have 4 bidders on the project. The engineer's opinion of probable cost was $6,242,044. The low bid received was $6,219,650.40. The certified bid tab does show that J&K Contracting was the low bidder. Staff and the engineer would recommend approval. And we have worked with J&K in the past. They were the underground subcontractor on Merle Hay and 62nd recently. Questions?
Council have any questions for Matt?
Did you provide the bid tab with all the bidders?
It should have been in the resolution.
I'm kind of interested. I wouldn't mind seeing that. And the engineer's estimate, how did it compare?
We were just under the engineer's estimate by about, roughly about $20,000.
And what was the issue with the Des Moines Register error?
They printed the wrong ad or the wrong notice to bidders. It was from Wisconsin. So I'm assuming somewhere in Wisconsin, someone's doing the same thing.
Okay, thank you.
So Matt, so the original, because we had a public hearing previously on this, is that the deal? And so in essence, that public hearing was null and void.
Correct.
And so now this is the, did you have to rebid it as well then, or?
No, we just had to go back and basically ratify and confirm the bids that we did receive, basically after we were able to publish the notice to bidders.
Okay, so we're having a second public hearing, but you didn't have to have a second bidding.
Right.
Okay. And so this is the second, and this gets us all
Yep, squares us away.
hunky-dory. Okay, great, thanks.
Any other questions for Matt? This is a public hearing on this item. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to address the council? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing then at 7:17. Do we have a motion to approve resolution number 23-192?
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second discussion. Sam, vote please.
Cope,
Yes.
Ready,
Yes.
Evans,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes,
Burkhart,
Yes.
Motion passed. Do we have a motion to approve resolution number 23-193?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second discussion. Sam, vote please.
Ready,
Yes.
Evans,
Yes.
Martin,
yes,
Burkhart,
Yes.
Cope.
Yes.
Motion passed. Moving on to item 4B, conduct a public hearing and consider resolution number 23-194, approving and authorizing execution of a development agreement by and between the City of Johnston and the Tejon Partners LLC. We'll open this public hearing at 7:18. Peter.
Good evening, council. This public hearing is to consider a development agreement that the city has entered into with Tejon Partners. This property is the old Burger King building on 86th Street that was demolished earlier this year. It's being put before you now because we were waiting until the property was formally included into the Beaver Creek West Urban Renewal District. But the terms of this agreement are an $80,000 forgivable loan that will occur over 1 year under the condition that Raising Cane's is operated under that timeframe. But yes, that's pretty much the whole agreement. It's just the $80,000 forgivable loan in exchange for the demolition of that property.
Council have any questions for Peter? Looks like they're making good progress on the construction of the building. This is a public hearing on this matter. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to address the council? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing then at 7:19. We have a motion to approve resolution number 23-194.
I move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion? Sam, vote please.
Evans,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Burkhart,
Yes.
Cope,
Yes.
Ready.
Yes.
Motion passed. Moving on to the consent agenda. Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion? I just want to point out real quickly, item 5C. That is an agreement, letter of agreement between DART and the city of Johnston for installation of a new bus shelter right out here at the town center. And the plan is to have that installed by August, and it's going to look really cool. And I think our art committee, what are they called?
Art Council.
Art Council. The Art Council worked with DART in the creation of it, so it should be a cool addition to the town center. So we have a motion and a second. Sam, vote please.
Martin,
Yes.
Burkhart,
Yes.
Cope,
Yes.
Ready,
Yes.
Evans.
Yes.
Motion passed. Moving on to the non-consent agenda, item 7A. Consider approval of the second reading of ordinance number 1105, amending the official zoning map for 12 acres from C1 to CD to, from C3 to CD to C3 with conditions. R2T2. Subject property is located at 5055 Merle Hay Road, PC case 23-13.
This is Dave Wilding. No changes from first consideration and no additional public comment.
Council have any questions for Dave? Anyone in the audience that would like to address this item? Seeing none, do we have a motion to approve second reading of ordinance number 1105?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion? Sam, vote please.
Burkhart,
Yes.
Cope,
Yes.
Ready,
Yes.
Evans,
Yes.
Martin.
Yes.
Motion passed. This can't be.
Don't jinx
Moving on
us.
to city administrator staff comments. Mike?
Mayor and
Council, just a couple.
Whoops, we got to do claims. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Claims, yes.
Yes. Item 7B. Do we have a motion to approve the claims?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Sam, vote please.
Martin,
Yes.
Burkhart,
Yes.
Cope,
Yes.
Ready,
Yes.
Evans.
Yes.
Motion passed. I guess I was getting too anxious.
The mayor was gaming for another meeting later in the week to approve claims, but
No. So we have moved on to the city administrator comments. Is there
just,
anything
just a couple.
valuable that you can add to this discussion?
On claims. I could end. No, just a quick reminder, Jay Allen concert is this Saturday, the 22nd as a reminder, and then Top Gun Maverick will be the movie during Farmers Market on Tuesday, July 25th. Otherwise, I don't have any other comments. I don't know if staff does.
I will just make a quick comment. I just want to thank the mayor and council for the approval of a joint agreement to purchase a large mobile ventilation unit. We actually used that today over in Grimes. We had a fire over there. Not a lot of fire damage, but a lot of smoke in the building, large building. And so mobile ventilation unit was brought over for Urbandale and they used it and it worked just as we expected. It worked great. So saved, an hour or more of ventilation with small fans. So it was definitely worth it. So I just want to thank you for helping with that purchase.
Well, Chief, as I shared with you in an email when you shared that information with me just a bit ago, it's a great story. A critical piece of equipment that was jointly purchased and has already shown its worth, so very good. Thank you. Any other city staff? If not, we'll go to the city council. Councilman Evans.
I have nothing, thanks.
Councilman Reddy.
I'll pass, thanks.
I can't pass. I need to make everyone clearly aware that there are kids in our city swinging sticks around left and right, and I couldn't be happier. The fact is, we'll start with tomorrow. The Johnston Boys High School team plays at their first game at state tournament at 11:30 in Iowa City. So we wish them well, and certainly they're playing West Liberty, so it'd be awesome to get as many folks there as possible. We also have, as you probably saw in an email invite from Councilmember Cope, both the 12U and 14U girls softball teams from Johnston have qualified for their national tournaments, and there's a send-off for them on Thursday, the 20th, and they'll be doing great things and already have. And then lastly, I had the opportunity, and we all could have had the opportunity, but to watch one of Johnston's own, Hannah Haxton, participate in the World Little League, Girls Little League World Series home run derby and qualify for her participation now in Williamsport. So all around, we got great folks swinging for the fences and beyond. So awesome. And with that, I yield.
I just want to mention Ragbri will be coming sort of close to Johnston. I know we at one time talked about doing some things to direct people to our town, but then we found out about they were trying to break a single-day record, and I thought that we just kind of let it go. But I'm looking forward to that, and I'm hoping that I'll see other people, other faces on the one day from Ames to Waterworks Park. I'm going to be one of those ones that will hop on at Slater and hop off in Ankeny. So I'm looking forward to that. That's all I have.
I have just a couple of things this evening. If you did not see the press release that went out last week, we do have a new CEO of DART. It is Amanda Wanke. She is a former DART employee, 7-year employee. She was previously DART's deputy CEO and COO. She left last October to take a job with New Flyer, which is a bus manufacturer. But as we continued, and I was on the selection committee, as we continued to interview and consider what our options were, we decided that Amanda was the right person at the right time for the position. And so we reached out and interviewed her, and the DART Commission unanimously approved her. So she'll do a great job for us. The other thing that I want to do is just give a shout out to Carrie Allen, one of our Parks employees. This past week, she, along with the Greater Des Moines Community Band, performed twice in Johnston, once at the First Baptist Church on 62nd Avenue. Had a great turnout there I think it was last Thursday night. They did a wonderful job. It was a hot evening, but everybody enjoyed the performance. And then they went out to Camp Dodge on Saturday and performed patriotic songs as part of the Daughters of American Revolution dedication of a plaque that they put on the Gold Star Military Museum. The plaque recognizes that it's been 250 years since we declared our independence, and it was done in commemoration or dedication to the 40 individuals who fought in the Revolutionary War, who are buried somewhere in Iowa. So it was a neat event, and again, the band did an amazing job performing. And the reason why I'm calling Carrie out is because she's very involved with the band. She has helped organize it, lead it, and is quite proud of the very fine job that they do. So just want to give her that quick shout out. So with that, is there anything else to come before the council this evening? Seeing none, we are adjourned.
Yeah.